Hello, this is Joseph Palmer with Tonebase, and in this video series, I'm going to take you through the foundations of right-hand technique using the Giuliani 120 arpeggio studies. And in these studies, they allow you to hone in your focus on the right hand and get about the same amount of benefit from just 2 measures as you would from a larger arpeggio study. And of course, playing guitar at a high level requires very efficient and controlled right-hand technique. Left hand, of course, as well. But the right hand is what executes the string and makes the sound happen. So it's always a prime area of focus for developing guitarists. Giuliani himself had said about these studies that if you could play all of them well, that you could essentially play anything he ever wrote. And of course, beyond Giuliani studies, virtually every piece written for guitar involves some combination of techniques that you'll probably find in these 120 studies. So I'm going to start in this video series with just the most fundamental right-hand strokes, being able to really know how to play individual strokes with your hand and gradually develop into more complex movement forms. So if you're a beginner and looking to really set up your right-hand technique, this will be very beneficial. Or if you're simply looking to refine and rework your technique in some way, I think you'll find the beginning very useful. And if you're a more advanced player and looking for more advanced topics, then you can skip around as you feel necessary. So I hope you find these videos useful and helpful for your guitar playing. So in order to solidify and establish your right hand position, you want to go over these steps every time you sit down with a guitar and make slight adjustments, refining your position. And I would continue to do so as the first thing you do every time you pick up the guitar, and periodically throughout your practice until it becomes an automatic habit. So to properly position your right hand on the strings, start by drawing an imaginary line from the bridge to the edge of the guitar, and that's where you want to place your forearm just a couple of inches before your elbow. And then you want to position your index and middle fingers on the top 2 strings and thumb on the 5th string. We'll just start with that. And then make sure that you have about 2 to 3 inches of space between the underneath of your wrist and the face of the guitar, so that you have enough arch that allows your fingers to be gently curved over the string. Make sure that your thumb is to the left of your fingers, so that when your index finger plays, that it doesn't hit up against your thumb, but it goes past the thumb into the hand. And then your shoulders are relaxed, your wrist is straight. One good way to test to see that your wrist is straight enough is imagine that there's another imaginary line that goes through your arm and out through your middle finger. You should point it this way, so that there's a continuous line. So if it was bent this way, that line would be broken. So you want to make sure straight wrist, a line that goes through your middle finger. And then fingers should be relaxed. So again, curved over the string like this. And another good way to check is that the ramp on your forearm comes to a plateau on the back of the hand. And that makes the back of the hand, the plane of the back of the hand parallel with the plane of the guitar. So if you see this or this, you know that that's a bit off. So plane of the back of hand, parallel to the plane of the guitar. So to recap that real quick, so you have an imaginary line right here. That's where you place your forearm, a couple inches before your elbow. About 2 to 3 inches of space between the wrist and the face of the guitar. Fingers relaxed and curved over the string, thumbs to the left. And then you have an imaginary line, you have a straight wrist with an imaginary line going through your middle finger and making sure that the plane of the back of the hand is parallel with the plane of the guitar. And if you got that, then that's a pretty solid right hand setup. In this video, I'll be going over how to properly play strokes with the thumb and the index fingers, or P and I, of the right hand. So first, always take a moment to get set up in a proper playing position. Forearm rested, aligned with the bridge, 2 or 3 inches of space between the underneath of the wrist, the face of the guitar, all the steps that we went over. Shoulders relaxed, fingers gently curved over the string. I have the index and middle on the top 2 strings and the thumb on the 5th string. Also, you can tell my thumb is at about a 45-degree angle to the string. If you imagine a right angle, so that would be 90 degree and that would be flat. So right there in between, 45-degree angle. And so with thumb strokes, that angle allows you to get a really good sound by moving sideways through the string and coming to rest to the tip joint of your index finger. So good thumb strokes should look something like this. If you notice, I'm resting on the string on the right side of my nail and following through, using the whole thumb to the tip joint of the index finger. So now the index finger moves past the thumb and into the hand from the large knuckle, and all the joints in the finger move uniformly into the hand past the thumb towards the palm, like this. So if you can tell, my index finger is placed on the string, not parallel with the string, but at an oblique angle like this. And that's what allows you to get a really nice sound. So you don't want to be parallel, but also at about a 45-degree angle to the string. So it looks like this. So once again. So one thing you want to make sure is that you have enough arch in your wrist and your fingers are curved enough over the string that allow you to make this movement from the large joint in towards the hand. A really common problem is that if you're too flat, there's no way that you can move from the large joint, and what ends up happening is you get something like this, where you pull away from the string. It's one of the most common things people first do when they pick up the guitar without knowing what to do, is that you have this joint, the mid joint moving inward, but the large knuckle moving in an upward direction, which is not a uniform movement, and it creates a bad sound that you want to avoid. So get enough wrist arch that you're able to move from the large joint into the hand like this. One good way to do that is just to try it off the guitar for a second and make that motion from the large joint, and then place it on the string just really lightly on the tip and kind of mimic that same motion, and then try it out. And if you see all the joints moving in a uniform way towards the palm, then you got it right. And it should result in a nice full sound. So once again, you have thumb, 45-degree angle, moving in the direction of the floor from the whole thumb to the tip joint of the index finger. And the index finger moving past the thumb and into the hand from the large joint, like this.